my report about sensory motor pathway. Sensory pathway, sensory input into the spinal cord and brain. It provides information and internal and external change in stimuli. As sensory information enters the spinal cord on the side of the body as a stimuli, ascending tracts cross over the middle of the body of the contralateral side. Motor's pathway, motor's response based on the CNS or central nervous system decision in voluntary or involuntary to change activity in skeletal muscle, organ, or glands. Why voluntary? Because of the carries signal from the brain to skeletal muscle and smooth muscle such as contains glands. The system consists of upper and lower motor of neurons. This information provides below is primary focus on the motor pathways that coordinate skeletal muscle movement. Motor pathway related to voluntary control of the skeletal muscle. Next one is reflect. Involuntary, predictable motors response to a sensory stimuli. Reflect involuntary, nearly instantaneous movement in a response to a stimuli. Next one is example of motor pathway. The same sensory stimuli also travels to a slower tradition of CNS pathway, the lateral spinothalamic tract, stimuli sharp thumb tract, persis skin receptor, pain receptor in the of skin gland of organ, sensory neurons from the hands to the spinal cord via route of crossover over the spinal cord of lateral white and travels up to the brain via lateral spinothalamic tract, synapses in the thalamus, and then travels to a primary somatosensory cortex. Next, the one is integration in primary somatosensory cortex, awareness of the pain hand. Next is the posterior column pathway. Number one is one of the part is the ventral nuclei in thalamus. Serve as a central integrative center of the motor control, receiving input from the cerebellum, striatum, and cortex and projecting to the primary motor cortex. The one is nucleogracis and nucleocutaneous, which are present at the bottom of the medulla. Both nuclei contain second order of the dorsal column medial limnicus pathways, which carries fine touch and information from the body to the brain. The next one is yung kasunudan niya, yung fasciculus cuneatus or gracchalis, fiber bundle that carry tactile of proprioceptive information from the lower half of the body is the part of the posterior column. The next one is fasciculus cuneatus, responsible transmitting vibration conscious proprioception of fine discriminative touch sensation from the upper part. Next is the sensory homunculus of the left of the cerebral hemisphere. And it is a topographic representation to the sensory of the distribution of the body found in the cerebral cortex. This topograph as usually has the body parts illustrated along the surface of the postcentral gyrus of parietal lobe. The next one is the mesencephalus is function in the motor movement, particularly movement of the eye and the auditory and visual processing region of the region of the developing vertebrate brain that composed of tectum and tegmentum. Next one is medial limnicus is a continuation of the dorsal column system in the spinal cord that conveys information about the vibration and position sensation to the ventral posterior lateral or VPL. The next one is a medulla oblongata, transmitting signal between the spinal cord and higher part of the brain and the control autonomic activities such as heartbeat and respiration. In the lower part is dorsal root ganglion is the relay of the sensory nerves impulse from the periphery to the peripheral nervous system. This information find touch, vibration, pressure, and proprioception sensation from the right side of the body of posterior column and pathway. So this is our report. Thank you.